Cart, are you ready to discuss the next player that we're going to be extremely wrong about?
Oh man, line them up.
This one happened like we became wrong about this kid way sooner than we're supposed to get wrong about a kid.
Yeah, I mean, a really early ground level floor wrong about a kid. Pioneers, one might say.
If you want people to be wrong about things, you've come to the right spot. Okay, Luke Ertel. Purdue fans are familiar with the name. Anybody that's not a Purdue fan is probably like, who? He is the presumed Braden Smith replacement. And obviously, with Omer Mayer in the fold and the idea that he could step in and be ready in the year right after Braden leaves, maybe this changes a little bit. But Luke Ertl is essentially the same exact profile as Braden Smith, a state of Indiana kid. He is the leader in the clubhouse, the favorite coming into his senior season to be Mr. Indiana Player of the Year in the state. 6'1", 170-pound, undersized combo guard from Mount Vernon, who is outside the top 100. He's a three-star recruit. When he committed to Purdue, what seems like ages ago now, he was barely rated. He was like a two-star recruit, totally under the radar. He had a bigger high school football profile with the recruiting services than he did as a basketball player. And the highlights, I think, reflected that. Back in the day when he committed, you and I watched the film. We came on here and we were like, I don't get what Painter's doing. This was at the same time we didn't like how Painter was moving in the transfer portal or the lack of movement in the transfer portal. And I think we kind of honestly at the time blasted this of like, this isn't a move that a national contending, national title coach would make. Hand up appears we're going to be very wrong again because Luke Ertl looks like one of the most underrated players in the entire high school class. We're probably overdue for an update here, but the reason we're updating it right now is because he is turning heads everywhere this weekend on the AAU circuit. He plays with Indiana Elite alongside Anthony Thompson, a five-star recruit that he could potentially play with in college as well that Purdue is pursuing. But he's just been stellar. He's dropping huge numbers every game. Most recently over the weekend, he had 23.6 rebounds, 2 assists. Sports Center Next, big time account on Twitter, put a huge highlight reel up of Luke Ertl and said Purdue fans are going to love 2026 commit Luke Ertl. 24/7 Sports wrote basically their scouting notes from the weekend, the biggest winners, biggest takeaways, and it was Brandon Jenkins, who's a national scout. And one of his three biggest winners of the weekend was Luke Ertl. He was blown away by how good this kid looked. Basically, anyone who was in the gym or even not in the gym, just on the internet, paying attention to Luke Ertl's AAU Indiana Elite performances over the weekend, came away completely in awe of how good this kid is and feeling like he is one of the most underrated players in the entire country. Whew, I'm out of breath from trying to eat crow. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's just well, one, we're just wrong. I need first of all, aesthetic wise, he's ready. We got one knee sleeve and a 2X t-shirt underneath for a 6'1" guy. Like the way he's operating right there. That's for starters. Two, I mean, you just when you have guys that are committed to schools like Purdue, right, and they are committed to them for a certain level of time, eventually you just start kind of picturing what that kid would look like in set system with set coach in a role that maybe is of a previous player. And the early ones were, oh, they found the next Braden Smith, and I didn't see it at first. I'd be honest with you. I thought they found the next who was a Purdue quarterback. I don't know. They found the next Drew Brees. All right, but it ends up being like that. He's not Braden. I'll go ahead and get out in front of that. But like he's damn good. He's really crafty. The lefty. He's got the little mid range kind of like little pull up fade thing going on. Really good passer. Also like he is the point guard for one of the better Adidas AAU circuit teams. And when you watch him play, like he plays with five-star kids, like you said, and plays on very high level kids and you come away like Luke Ertl was one of the better guards on the floor.
This video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. We have a special offer for you. Promo code SLEEPERS. If you're a first-time depositor, they will give you a bonus up to $1,000 that matches 50% of your first deposit, plus a free pick. And tonight's free pick is focused on none other than Steph Curry. Card, I got a question for you. How many points does Steph Curry average?
Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and say 29.
I don't have it in front of me, but that sounds about right. Certainly more than zero, I assume.
Of course.
Well, tonight's free pick, Steph Curry to score one point, higher than 0.5 points. It's as much of a guarantee as you can possibly get. Underdog Fantasy, deposit as a first time user, put in promo code SLEEPERS. Make sure you get that deposit match bonus up to $1,000 and the Steph Curry free pick. Back to the video.
a lot of the time. So I think it's credit to him, it's credit to Paint for getting on the ground floor on this one, and credit to us for being wrong.
Does he look like anyone when you watch him? Because obviously Purdue fans make the Braden Smith comp. It's so easy given that they are both Caucasian point guards that were extremely under the radar that just appear to have this like killer offensive instinct. But I would tell you from what I see in video form, I don't think he plays like Braden at all. I mean, this kid is more of a scorer, get mine type than I think Braden was at the same age. And I don't know how that's going to translate. We'll see. But like, this is like a lefty shot hunting step back extraordinaire. I don't know. Any comps come to mind for you?
No, but I'm scared of what one's
Oh,
coming for
I
you.
don't have one. Honestly, this is sad because no one listening to this is going to know. He reminds me of Jake Bullock.
He kind of does look like lies.
Dog, the long sleeve tees and he's just like, how does that work for that kid? For the record, Jake Bullock is a kid that went to my high school that played at Aquinas College. What is it, a Division two here in Michigan?
NAIA?
NAIA, but he's I think the program's all-time leading scorer
Yeah.
when he left. So he became a great at that level. It's not the Big Ten, it's not Purdue, but he's got the same. If this was NBA 2K, he would have the same archetype as Jake Bullock.
No, they got the same jumper too.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But
No,
is
he's
there
Jake.
anyone at the D1 level we can cop him to that's better that would get Purdue fans excited or no?
No, I urge Purdue fans to go tap into some Jake Bullock Aquinas film. Well, I'll say if you want to see some, I got some I can find in the archives. That's who this kid is.
Is that good or bad for Purdue? Are we back to hating on Luke Ertel now?
No, this is good because I think the good thing for Purdue fans is that I think Luke Ertel has a massive country playlist while Jake was like rocking out the Little Dirk and stuff like that.
And I feel like, respectfully, if Jake had fallen into Matt Painter's arms, I think his career might have gone a little differently.
Yeah, if Matt Painter was chose to recruit Harrison Docks instead of Brad Stevens, he sees Jake and he's like, all right, go come be a boiler.
What are reasonable expectations for Luke Ertel when he gets to campus?
See,
Because
see, that's the part that sucks. It's we got the next Braden. It's like where everyone does, like we got the next insert player here that was really good for us. And like, when does that ever actually work out?
I mean, it worked with Braden. It worked with Fletcher when
But
it
I'm
came
saying, like,
that
who were
good.
those guys the next of?
I mean, they were just filling gaps, is what I would argue, right?
Right,
Like,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Luke Ertl fill in a gap. Like, oh, that's we got our point guard. Not we got Braden Smith.
yeah, here's the only thing I would say. I think a huge part of what made Braden Smith work so quickly was just opportunity, right? Like that.
Yeah,
I mean, we called him crazy coming into the season that year. Like, why is Matt Painter going into a year with no backcourt? That's what we called it. And then a week in, Purdue was like beating Duke and Kentucky, whatever those games were early in the season, Gonzaga, I think, and like two 18-year-old freshmen were killing. And it was very clear that he just knew those guys were going to be ready. And look, I think Omer being on the roster helps in a big way because it's just some insurance. Like if Braden leaves, we know in theory Omer is going to be ready to be a star point guard potentially if he's back for a second year at Purdue. But there's also a world where like this combo guard role for Omer is great, playing the two next to Braden in year one. And if Luke Ertl gets to campus and is really good, then it becomes Luke Ertl and Omer Mayer playing together. There's also guys in the Purdue backcourt right now that Purdue fans really love. CJ Cox is going to have to start at some point. Jakari Harris, if he develops, should be a starter at some point. So I don't know. The depth is different. It's not like Braden Smith stepping in where you're looking at this roster like there's nobody here. Year one, junior CJ Cox, junior Jakari Harris, sophomore Omer Mayer, freshman Luke Ertl. Feels like he still is a bench piece to me, but I've been surprised before and I'm willing to be surprised again.
I just came up with one more comp before we get out of here.
Okay, please.
Now, there's a caveat with this one, so I guess it's not a really good comp, but I need this caveat to be a part of it.
Okay.
Does not have the athleticism of the player I'm about to name.
Okay.
He's got a little Jaden Akins in high school to him.
Oh, yuck.
It didn't necessarily matriculate at Michigan State the way it should have, but I saw Jaden in high school, and this is kind of what it looked like.
I hate that, and I don't endorse that comp.
Sorry.
You're just doing lefty to lefty.
It's similar, man.
I see James Harden.
Okay, here we go. Is it more Killian Hayes than him?